Perth ablaze, homes destroyed as we remember our darkest day. Flash flood anger, why Melbourne's stormwater system failed. The Bulldogs unleashed, how end-of-season hijinks became a YouTube sensation. And Victoria's hidden medical scandal, mistakes that shatter lives. Good evening. From floods to cyclones, now Western Australia is in the grip of a bushfire emergency. So far, 59 homes in Perth's Eastern Hills have been destroyed, with 28 others damaged and more in danger. A man using an angle grinder sparked the blaze that engulfed homes around Roleystone. Another major bushfire is burning at Red Hill.
Oh, God, we've got another one up here as well.
That's it, got it, mate. Stay on this one, stay on this one.
Moving at terrifying speed, walls of flame ripped through Perth's Hills region.
We've got about 4 or 5 houses about to go up now.
And picked off house after house.
How hard is it with that wind?
Very swirling, mate, so we can't really control it.
Yep.
Wind gusts of 75 kilometres an hour, the remnants of last week's cyclone Yasi, pushed the fire front forward.
Where'd you live? That way.
And fleeing residents were only minutes ahead of it.
It just came over so fast. We just had to grab everything and jump.
It's only a matter of time, I think, by the look of it, because the wind is just out of control now.
Others trying to get back to their homes were physically restrained by police.
Disorderly behaviour. You're not doing as you're told.
A handful even arrested, told it was for their own safety.
It's for your own good. Yeah. Pardon? Get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
It raged through the night too. An angle grinder is believed to have started the blaze, the sparks igniting dry grass. In total, 59 houses were destroyed, including those of 2 firefighters. Trevor Robinson lost everything and only just saved his family.
I was standing down the side of the house trying to hose it down, and it just blew up. Virtually burnt all the hairs on my arm.
Bob Walters fled with his wife, but returned today alone.
I don't know. I don't think she wants to come and look at it.
Infrastructure ruined too. This bridge burned from below. But only 4 were injured, 3 from smoke inhalation, 1 a firefighter seriously hurt in a vehicle smash. Authorities amazed no one was killed.
After everything Australia, I think, has been through, I think it's just, how much more can we put up with?
And all just as Victoria marked the anniversary of the Black Saturday bushfires. Chris Reason, 7 News.
And here in Victoria, we've remembered Black Saturday on the 2nd anniversary of the firestorm that devastated our state. Alicia Grabowski is in Kinglake, and Alicia, another memorial service is being held tonight.
Peter, locals here in Kinglake wanted a low-key memorial today to quietly reflect on what happened 2 years ago. There was a ceremony held here this morning, and there'll be another one at 7 o'clock tonight. As time goes by in Kinglake, locals say it's only getting harder.
It's not that we're ungrateful, it's more that we were promised the world and got an island instead.
The community wanted a small, subdued memorial so they could reflect with family and friends.
It's fairly sombre today, but a little bit more of a feel that it's a residence and the people who lived here, it's their day.
You'll cry on someone's shoulder that you know before you'll do it to a stranger.
Hundreds of messages of love and support were written on these canvases. Everyone promised never to forget those who died.
Quite a few of the residents up here have decided to raise money for Queensland and other relief funds, and it's their way of dealing with it.
Today, the main street in Kinglake was quieter than usual. People just wanted to be alone. 27 people died in Marysville, and while the 2nd anniversary will be marked with a private gathering tonight, locals are full of hope.
We've got 40 children at the school. We've got 27 children at the kinder. So, that's a fantastic achievement in itself.
In Kinglake, Alicia Grabowski, 7 News.
Victoria's flood clean-up has taken a tragic turn, with a man losing his life after falling from the roof of his Mount Waverley home. Many homes remain flooded, and authorities are warning people in the affected areas to take care.
The Army rolled into Mildura this morning. The clean-up task there is enormous.
Right across the district there's been people working together to get this water out of the low-lying areas.
The water isn't going anywhere in Shrives Road, Narre Warren.
Most things in every room, you know. The stuff outside, a lot of work outside gone.
Glen Salt's $100,000 renovation is ruined. Residents say the drainage system is to blame.
Have you been round there to have a look at them?
Yeah.
Absolute disgrace. The City of Casey should be ashamed of themselves.
Prime Minister Julia Gillard says financial assistance will be carefully targeted, with a watchdog headed by former New South Wales Premier John Fahey overseeing payments.
It's my determination to make sure we get value for money for every taxpayer's dollar spent.
With the flood hangover stretching across the outer eastern suburbs, it was a mad Monday morning on the roads. Getting to school was a tough task for many. Some schools were completely closed. Despite extensive damage to the public transport network, there were no problems with trains.
No, I was surprised. I left earlier, but it was all fine.
Built to drought-proof the state, the desalination plant is now underwater. The West family says their home would have been spared had the desal project not removed a critical levee.
We're devastated because we just shouldn't be this far affected.
The damage to agriculture is so extensive across the state that sooner or later we're all going to be counting the cost at the supermarket checkout. Premier Ted Baillieu took to the skies to survey the devastation. The government says 30,000 sheep and 400 head of cattle are dead or missing, but fruit and vegetables are the hardest hit. Wayne Tymonson has lost 80% of his potato crop, worth more than $2 million.
I'd say these plants will just wither over and die, most of them. Yeah. That'll be the end of them.
While Wayne tries to save what he can, his 5-year-old daughter Brianna is battling leukemia, receiving treatment at Monash Kids.
Brianna having her treatment puts it all in perspective, and I think that's probably what's helping me handle the whole situation.
Ben McNair, 7 News.
And as the clean-up continues, there's one very big question that remains: why the stormwater system failed to cope. Dean Felton's at Elwood. And Dean, what's being done to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Mitch, it's calm here now, but that storm was so massive that engineers and planners tell us that no drainage system yet built could have handled it. There are, however, measures that could lessen the impact. Some are already in use, others are still on the drawing board.
This street in Cranbourne floods every time it rains, but Friday night was the worst yet.
We've had sewerage come up in the shower Friday night, and we've had sewerage come up in the kitchen sink.
We pay our land and water rates, and it's about time they really fixed it.
We can't live like this anymore.
Science says our rainfall will continue to arrive in heavier bursts than we're used to, but experts believe no drainage network could have controlled a downpour like Friday night's.
You can only design a drainage system to cope with so much unless you don't want to have any other public infrastructure. You want to spend all your money on drainage.
Town planners say we need to fix drainage hotspots and to harvest stormwater, a job that gardens and backyards used to do.
With concrete and asphalt car parks and buildings, the stormwater system simply can't cope with that higher density development.
Melbourne Water spends $17 million a year fixing and expanding our stormwater system. It's 1,400 kilometres of drains crisscross the city, but pipes are only part of the plan.
This is a retarding basin, and there are many of them all round Melbourne. The rest of the year they're playing fields and parklands, but after heavy rain they do what they're specifically designed to do: hold back excess water to ease the load on the drainage system.
And modern flood mitigation has a dual purpose, protecting us not only from too much water, but also from too little.
Capturing stormwater in rainwater tanks and stormwater harvesting and reuse, all of these sorts of things can help to mitigate.
The Premier will address the issue in Parliament this week. Dean Felton, 7 News.
An unwitting accomplice to the murder of Des Moran has denied lying about his involvement to earn a discount on his sentence. Michael Farrugia told the jury in Judy Moran's murder trial he was present when Des Moran was shot dead, but had no prior knowledge of a murder plot. He insisted Judy Moran was the getaway driver and rejected claims he agreed to give evidence against her in return for a more lenient sentence for manslaughter. Moran's trial continues. It's the end-of-season trip that's become a YouTube sensation while proving not all publicity is good publicity. A video shows Western Bulldogs players off the leash and on the street in Hong Kong.
Clearly drunk and running amok.
On a November trip to Hong Kong, Western Bulldogs players, including Brownlow medalist Adam Cooney, were captured on video harassing taxi drivers and jumping on cars. Club officials first saw it last week and are furious.
There's a disrespect for the drivers of the vehicles involved in that street in Hong Kong, for their property, and also they place themselves in a position of risk too.
It's not A-grade stupidity, it's B-grade stupidity, but still stupid. Won't they learn, these guys?
The club has refused to speak on camera, but in a statement says it's frustrated and disappointed. Players today refuse to comment, but not everyone thinks it's serious.
Have they smashed a car up or sold it to anybody? Just skylarking and being stupid.
Doug Hawkins says it's just boys being boys.
These new YouTubes, what they call? Imagine them around in the 70s and 80s. Would be in some trouble.
Former Bulldog star Jason Ackermanis, who was sacked last year, has accused the club and Adam Cooney in particular of hypocrisy. He's told 7 News Cooney was one of his most vocal critics during his time at the club, especially on issues of leadership. The club won't say how it's penalised those involved. Laurel Irving, 7 News.
The AFL is mourning the loss of Jill Lindsay, the league's longest-serving employee. The 61-year-old grounds operation manager died this morning after a battle with cancer. Lindsay started work for the then VFL in 1970. She became the only woman to receive AFL life membership. The AFL chief executive has described her death as heartbreaking. A 7 News Freedom of Information probe has uncovered Victoria's hidden medical scandal. Millions of dollars in compensation following bungled diagnoses and mistakes that leave lives shattered. Authorities are settling at least 2 cases a week, and lawyers say many could have been avoided.
Marlene Landsman's husband Adam died at Cabrini Hospital of a tear in the main artery of his heart. Shortly before, he was downgraded from a high-risk unit into a 4-bed cubicle after a radiologist insisted a scan of his heart was clear.
They revived him only momentarily, just enough to say, please help me, I want to live.
Mrs. Landsman is suing the emergency doctor and the radiologists who read the scan at home by email because it was a weekend. She says a communication breakdown meant the wrong scan was ordered.
Like, if you can't work it out, maybe call someone who can. Ask for some help. Don't just walk away.
After a 6-year fight with the medical system and few answers, she sued. Her trial is due this year.
We pursued the why. Well, why did this happen?
Over 2 years, the health department paid $117 million in medical indemnity settlements to 259 patients. That's 2.4 settlements a week. An average of $450,000 per patient. Mrs. Lansom is staggered the numbers are so high.
Every person that's putting in a claim has suffered.
We need a stronger focus on quality and safety to ensure that the better quality outcomes are achieved and costs are thereby minimised.
Lawyers say many of the mistakes that go on to risk patients' lives start off as simple communication breakdowns or administrative errors.
Slater and Gordon have 5 tips to avoid medical error. If the doctor promises to call but doesn't, call back. Don't fall through the cracks. Ask about side effects. Describe all symptoms, even embarrassing ones. Trust your instincts and query anything odd. And follow up on all test results. No news is not necessarily good news.
You can be a proactive patient and take an interest in your health care.
Louise Milligan, 7 News.
And for more information on that story, you can go to our website, yahoo7.com.au/news. Where to find mobile speed cameras? That's next in 7 News. Plus, can you help police find this sexual predator before he strikes again? And how a singing superstar botched the Super Bowl national anthem. A 16-year-old girl has been indecently assaulted in broad daylight after stepping off a train at Regent Railway Station in Reservoir last month. Police are hunting a man aged in his 40s, 165 to 170 centimetres tall and of Middle Eastern or Southern European appearance. Victorian motorists are getting a new deal on mobile speed cameras. From today, the government's telling us where the cameras are, and soon there could be greater speed tolerances before we're fined.
They sit on the roadside waiting for speeding motorists to make a contribution to state government revenue. But now, at least, we have some idea where they'll be. The Baillieu government is honouring its election commitment to tell us the mobile camera locations. But all the publicity didn't help this driver.
Yeah, I've just been done twice in one day.
Publication of the list allowed us to find this speed camera in Reservoir today, but that was only after scouring all 10 possible locations for this suburb this week. Reservoir gets most attention in the city area this week, while in the bush, Ballarat and Mildura top the list with 8 cameras each. And now the government is looking at giving even more warning to the public, placing signs telling of mobile traps ahead.
That is one of the points that the Auditor-General will be actually dealing with.
And the government is also asking the Auditor-General to look at the issue of tolerances allowed for speeding motorists.
Tolerance issues will be one of the many issues explored by the Auditor-General in the report that I have asked him to deliver.
I think anything that increases the confidence that speed cameras are there for safety reasons is probably going to be a good thing, and we expect a lot of these things will come out in the government review.
To check where mobile cameras will be in your area, go to yahoo7.com.au/news and you'll be directed to the list. Norm Beeman, 7 News.
The Australian share market rose slightly today, helped by gains in banks and insurers. Commonwealth Bank added 41 cents, while the Australian dollar's buying 101.46 US cents. 100 million viewers have watched the Green Bay Packers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Super Bowl, but it was an unforgettable event for Christina Aguilera, who botched the national anthem, while our own Keith Urban got the party started.
With 100 million people watching, Keith Urban kicked off the pre-game entertainment. Christina Aguilera didn't do so well, singing the wrong words to the national anthem. At the twilight's last ring. Facing off, fierce rivals, the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers. Fans crowded into bars around the country. The Black Eyed Peas kept the party going at half-time, but not even Slash's solo could inspire the Steelers, who went down 31-25. About half the people who watch the Super Bowl are reportedly more interested in the commercials than the game itself. Each 30-second spot cost $3 million.
Honey! You hit replay all.
The best ads are destined to be popular online. Volkswagen's Darth Vader boy is already a favourite. In the United States, Angela Cox, 7 News.
And more sport is coming up next with Sandy Roberts.
Thank you, Mitch. Hello, everyone. And coming up tonight, we'll cross to cricket's glamour night. Also, the favourite sons, Gary and Carmichael, on the hunt for fans. And how a new coach got the Melbourne Tigers to roar. Hello again. Australia's cricketers are gathering here in Melbourne tonight for the sport's glamour evening, the Allan Border Medal. Our own Tom Brown's at Crown Casino at the moment. And Tom, it's been a summer of highs and lows.
It certainly has been, Sandy, but tonight's Allan Border Medal is an opportunity for our cricketers to at least let their hair down. As always, the ladies have gone all out to contribute to the glitz and the glamour on the red carpet. And in cricketing news, all eyes are on whether Mike Hussey and Nathan Horrocks will be ready for the World Cup. Mike Hussey has met with his physios today, but the good news is that Ricky Ponting is ready to go.
I'm coming along well. I'm probably a bit further advanced right now than I thought I was going to be, which is a good sign for the start of the tournament.
Now, of course, Shane Watson is the favourite to go back-to-back. He arrived a short time ago.
It's been nice to be able to have the year that I've had and contribute throughout the last year.
Now, our cricketers won't get much of a time to party. They'll leave shortly for the World Cup. But tonight's medal is an opportunity to draw a line in the sand and take their momentum into this month's World Cup. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you, Tom. Meanwhile, Carmichael Hunt's AFL debut date is still unknown, with the star Suns recruit unsure if he'll play in the club's first NAB Cup match. Today, he joined skipper Gary Ablett and other players in a push to attract young fans.
Gary Ablett may be the Suns' inaugural captain and face of the club, but when it comes to Gold Coast kids, there's only one player who gets a cheer.
Hey kids, I'm Carmichael Hunt.
The former Brisbane Broncos star was also honest when asked the tough questions.
Can Carmichael Hunt win the Brownlow medal?
No.
While Brownlow talk is over the top, Hunt is happy with his progress.
It's going good, continually improving, which is what I'm after and which is what the coaches have always stressed to me.
The Suns are also happy with its growing membership base.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've signed up with 10,000 members now, so we're going along all right at the moment, and we're just going to keep working on that.
And Ablett hopes he'll be leading the side out for its first NAB Cup match. The Bombers were also out today visiting schools in the Bendigo area. James Hurd's new game plan will be unveiled in the NAB Cup against St Kilda on February 18.
The philosophy, from the NFL is defence wins championships, and I think that the same sort of thing applies in AFL. So if you want to compete, if you want to be successful, you've got to be able to hold the other team from scoring.
Michael Felgate, 7 News.
Just days after sacking coach Al Westover, the Melbourne Tigers have returned to the winners list. The Tigers down Wollongong at the Cage last night by 19 points. Interim coach Daryl McDonald getting off to the perfect start.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, the guys played hard. We take it one game at a time. We'll see what happens.
Corey Homicide Williams top scored with 19 points. One game at a time, but it always happens, Mitch, after the coach gets the chop, they come out and win.
Yes, indeed,
See you tomorrow.
Sandy. Thank you. Guess what? There's more rain on the way. I'll have the weather details next in 7 News. After Victoria's weekend deluge, some fine days coming up, but more drenching rain is due later this week. Today, temperatures well below average for this time of year. In the city, a top of 21.5 at 2:19 after our early morning low of just 10.8 degrees. A cold front is expected to cross southern Victoria early tomorrow with isolated showers and drizzle patches, but a trough of low pressure will approach us later in the week with humidity increasing and conditions becoming more unsettled. Nationwide tomorrow, remaining hot over in Perth for the bushfire battle, 33. Mainly fine in Sydney, 25. Rain developing in Brisbane again, a top of 27 degrees. Victoria tomorrow, cool to mild again, fine and mostly sunny in the north, partly cloudy with morning drizzle patches in the south. And for Melbourne tomorrow, morning drizzle patches clearing to a partly cloudy top of 22 degrees after a low tonight of 15. And further ahead, Wednesday, partly cloudy and 26. Thursday, a humid 29 with showers and isolated storms developing. Friday, more drenching rain, a top of 25, and at this stage in the low 20s over the weekend. And that's the way it is this Monday, the 7th of February. Thanks for your company. Today Tonight is next with Matt White. I'll have updates throughout the evening. For now, good night.
Oh, God, we've got another one up here as well.
We've got about 4 or 5 houses about to